Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and it is time for your Leeds versus West Ham post-match chat. Normally, I would do this instantly after a watch-along. Big shout-out to those that join me for the watch-along as well. It's all appreciated, man. It's all love. It's all good. But I had stuff to do. And also, I was a little bit miffed. Like, I can't lie. I wasn't even looking forward to the game. I seen it as a bit of a nuisance, a little bit of as an afterthought. And I know that's mad. And I know some people don't like it. Magic of the FA Cup and all that jazz. But I just seen it as a bit of a needless game for both sides. West Ham chasing top four, Leeds in a relegation dogfight. Okay. It's all about next week's game. I was quite surprised, when I seen the lineups, just how strong West Ham had gone, because I was thinking, this suits us. They play on Wednesday night against Norwich. Then they've got us. We've got a full week's rest. Let's play some under-23s, add some more in. Of course, by the end of the game, that wasn't the case. And I won't lie, the substitutes annoyed me and frustrated me, and Bielsa's never exempt from criticism. If you're going to go with a strong end to the game, you might as well start strong. You might as well go from the off and then add youth if you're in a decent position or whatever, or the game's gone. I just thought it was a little bit strange for me, the way the subs were used. I want to say big shout out to Leo Geldy and Lewis Bate, who both got their debuts. Bate didn't do an awful lot, but what I will say, in the second half, we got worse. We got worse. Now, there is game state added to that as well. Big shout out. The guys at All Stats, aren't we? But game state is a thing, right? West Ham at halftime, they're winning 1-0. They shut up shop. They said, you know what? We're now going to go into a low block. You come on to us and try break us down. And we know with Bielsa against sides that can play well in a low block, we will struggle to break down. We did so under Bielsa in the Championship. So it was a bit like, West Ham saying, you come on to us and then we'll just catch you on the counter. It proved to be the case at the end of the game when obviously Jared Bowen made it 2-0. But there was a period at the end of the game, the last 5 minutes, I would say, when West Ham was sort of like gifting us chances and we actually did manage to create. But other than that, that second half was poor. Someone on the watch along said to me, Joe, I'm going to get off, man. I'm going to go watch paint dry. And genuinely, it was like that. And I said that on the watch along, you can tell for me in a Leeds United game, when you're watching, normally in the first 15 minutes, whether or not we're going to have a good game. But I think a lot of us at halftime were happy because it was like West Ham are very strong. They're a decent side. They've played a strong lineup. We've got some under-23s in there. We're not really fussed about the FA Cup. Let's go about it. Then when the changes happen, it has a totally different feel to me. And I'd have been happy with him keeping it as it is. I'd have brought Jack Harrison off at half-time and brought on Somerville. When Luke Ayling comes off, I'd have brought on Cody Drama. I wouldn't have been bringing on Rafinha. I wouldn't have been bringing on Dallas. I wouldn't have been bringing on Adam Forshaw. Do you know what I mean? And Drama was only used because of an injury to Firpo. Obviously, Firpo got dizzy after a knock from Melier, and of course, he had to go off, like concussion kind of vibe. But just on Cody Drama as well, it looks like he's destined for Cardiff. It looks like he's going out on loan, and that's been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, and then followed on by the likes of Adam Pope, Phil here, and of course Graham Smith. So Cody Drama's gone, and he will be going out on loan, it looks like, to Cardiff. I think it was between them and Swansea. That's quite interesting. I do think, I know Joe Donoghue posed the question to Bielsa last week, are you going to see some of these under-23s go out on loan? And he said, yeah. He said to us previously, the replacements that he thought would be able to fix this injury situation obviously weren't adequate enough. That, to me, is the under-23s that were stepping in. They haven't been up to the level that's needed. I think a lot of us could have told Bielsa that before it happened, because the step up is huge. I'm not trying to say that I know more, but I think we all knew that. Cody Drama looked out of his depth against Arsenal a little bit. Wasn't going to be played today. I think John from All Stats Aren't We made the point of saying he'd heard that, Leeds United weren't too up on his performance, and Bielsa quickly makes a snap judgment whether or not he feels a player's ready. And it looks like that's happened after Arsenal, and now he's been sent out on loan. He wouldn't have been used today. See, for me, I'd have started him. I'd have started Geldy. I'd have started Bate. I'd have started Greenwood. I'd have started Somerville as well. I'd have even started Somerville. It was very, very strange. I didn't understand the substitutions at half-time. That's just my opinion, though. And of course, I didn't go to the game. There's 9,000 people that have travelled all the way to London. They want to see us compete. But I would argue we competed more in the first half than we did in the second. Genuinely. We were actually in the game. Of course, the goal, let's get on to that. Stuart Atwell is a joke of a referee. Absolute shambles. Some of the decisions, even before we get to the VAR, or before we even discuss the VAR, like Vlasic, I thought Vlasic was very good and I was impressed. I haven't seen an awful lot of him, but I know he was a decent signing for them. Hearing from Corey, actually seeing him, he's decent. He's good technically. He did very well in the build-up to their goal. Of course, he gelled it. I thought at the time he's got hold of him. Maybe he's giving away a penny. He actually made a fantastic tackle. But then Jared Bowen, Jared Bowen's offside. Jared Bowen is offside. You can actually, Mark Halsey, ex-referee, said, look, being in an offside position is not an offence in itself. Once Bowen makes that initial movement towards the ball, in doing so, challenging an opponent, i.e. Melier, coming from an offside position, he then becomes involved in active play and therefore should be given offside. Why VAR's not give it offside, I don't know. Why VAR's not give it offside, I don't know. It then takes a little bit of like pinball and it falls to Lanzini, and Lanzini's in hot form. He's not going to miss from there. I wouldn't miss from there. He makes it 1-0. And I felt at the time 0-0 at half-time would have been decent for Leeds. Then, I don't know, would you have made the changes then at that point? Maybe I'd have been happier with it at that point. I don't know. I just don't think we needed to go for it as we did in terms of personnel that were brought onto the pitch. Because of where we are in the league. But back to Vlasic, sorry, I've gone on a tangent. Really, really rated him. However, he gave me Grealish vibes, like in terms of how many times he bought, and it's more so on Stuart Atwell, like because he bought one from Leo Ojeldi, which was never a foul. He turned and slipped. There was one on Ben Johnson where Cody Drama didn't even touch him and got himself a yellow card. It was insanity, man. Stuart Atwell genuinely was an absolute joke. But yeah, I thought just on Ajeldi did fantastic, much like Creswell did against Antonio in that game at Ellen Road. Ajeldi did the same up against one of the best centre forwards in the league in terms of what he brings, of what he offers. Do you know what I mean? So it was decent. But like I say, we go in at halftime 1-0. And then second half comes and we make them changes. And then game state comes into play. West Ham sit behind the ball, low block, break us down, and we couldn't do that. Obviously, no Bamford as well. Prior to kickoff, that's really worrying. I said on the watch along, it's really worrying because I heard at Burnley game that he was supposed to be in the squad for Burnley. However, he got took out late, and Greenwood was brought in because he picked up something there. Then we hear that he's going to be fit for this weekend, and apparently now he's picked up another knock, something underneath his hip. They don't even know what it is that's behind it, but he's picked up an injury, so he's going to be out. Don't think he'll make Sunday. I hope he does, but if he doesn't, who starts up top against West Ham? Because to be honest, like West Ham, what I will say defensively, and Corey was talking about this in his preview and stuff, is like they're not that great on the ball. They don't communicate as well. There was one moment where the ball went through and Diop was almost going to challenge Areola. Straight away, I was thinking, oh, that's what Corey was talking about in terms of that communication. And they can be got at. Ball progression from the centre-backs isn't great. So many times in that first half, I've seen Souček and Declan Rice saying to either Dawson or Diop, come on, carry the ball. 9 times out of 10, they were running into trouble or making a poor pass. So if Bamford starts, he causes that backline problems for me. But I don't know. We have to go for a striker. Because we have no one. We've been linked with Ferran Jutgla. Bielsa was asked the question about, transfers and about how we sort this situation. And he said, and I'll say what he said in his presser. He said, I've been answering this question for 3 weeks now. I've got no problems answering it again. If we can bring in players better than the ones we have, and they are accessible with the economics of the club, i.e. we can afford, we are not going to doubt in making that position, So we're going to make them signings if everything falls into place. But he says that decision has 3 aspects. The player is better than what we have in terms of someone like a Jutgla, or someone is better than the squad players that we have. Because at the minute, we might even be, lumping on Greenwood starting up top against West Ham in the league. Or James. It just doesn't work. Dan James isn't a striker. 2, the club can afford him. And 3, is he a player who can compete quickly? He said, there's another aspect as well we have to we have to bring in. We have to see who comes in, who he comes in to replace. So if he's better than the one he's coming to replace. So for me, there's many strikers out there that are better than Tyler Roberts as an option. And then he says, how long will it take for the player he is replacing to recover from injury? So is it then going to be a situation when you have too many strikers? Because he says, let's think after the international break, we recover 4 strikers. It might be convenient to add a centre forward due to this. We all know how much strikers cost, yeah? But he says, I don't know if it's convenient to bring a striker in if he's going to be one of 5. He said the logical response would be to bring in players in any way possible. But all of these aspects we need to bear in mind. So we know with Bielsa as well, he doesn't like having too many players. So for me and you, we say, right, bring in a Ferran Jutgla. Bring someone in who can lead the line for us. But then he's then thinking, right, okay, is he better than what we've got? Well, I'm sorry, there's better than what's underneath Bamford out there. And if Bamford's going to be out, and it's one of them injuries that we don't know what it is, and therefore, you know, we didn't know what was going on with Forshaw for so long. We just don't want one of them reoccurring issues, because if we're without Bamford for a long period of time, we have no Roberts, we have no Gelhardt. We're up shit creek without a paddle. So we definitely need to make moves. Centre midfielder, we know, you know, but we can. The mad thing is, we know we need a midfielder, but we've got to where we are by moving parts. What we can't have is no striker. We can't have no striker, and the Bamford situation's really worrying me. Hopefully he's fine, but I get where Bielsa's talking about, like, if everyone comes fit after the international break, we've then got 5 strikers, then what do I do? But that's a cross you have to bear, I think. You have to run with that. You have to run with that. For sure. I know this is a bit of a West Ham debrief, but there's just loads come out since. But look, in terms of the game, look, I'm frustrated because of the state of the refereeing. Atwell was a joke. I didn't like the way we went about the substitutions. I'd have just kept it as it were. And as I said, bring in Somerville, you know, bring on a drama and just go for it that way, because we've sort of showed a hand a little bit. West Ham, they were comfortable in the first half, but we were doing things. I think in the second half, it became an even easier game for them, and Leeds United failed to create. The second half was worse than the first, and that was after the changes of bringing in the first teamers. I just hope next weekend has a totally different vibe. Hopefully Bamford is fit. Rafinha will start. You know, because I think West Ham will almost be an identical lineup next weekend. Maybe Fornells starts. But although the way Vlasic played today, he might play Vlasic. Just don't know. But yeah, I wasn't expecting to talk this long, to be honest. I thought it'd be a quick in and out one. But yeah, there's just loads going on at the minute. Obviously, we hear Bamford's injured, you know, all that sort of stuff. Players exiting. If you're going to let, as well, this is a mad one, right? Like, you talk about having too many strikers, talk about having too many whatever, but then are willing to let Leif Davis go out on loan when we've only got one recognised left back. And there's a bit of a worry for me letting Cody Drama, because we only have Dallas and Ayling. And if Ayling gets injured and Dallas is playing in midfield, then it's moving parts again. Do you know what I mean? Let's say, for example, Dallas is having to play midfield and Ayling goes out. Who's going to play at right back if Drama is out on loan? But then you're worried about having 5 strikers. I don't know. Listen, here's what, you know, I will always back them. But yeah, it's a little bit of a conundrum. Bit of a mad one, isn't it? It is a bit of a mad one. But I think I've rambled on enough. I don't even know if I've touched on West Ham enough. Just disappointed with the game, but I weren't really arsed with it anyway. Of course, I don't want to lose the game, but I don't know. Just the subs were weird. Atwell's a div. And yeah, fair play to West Ham. I don't mind West Ham. Only because of Corey, though, I think. Nah, but listen, it's all about the league for us now, isn't it? It was anyway prior to this game. So we move and we march on. But yeah, march on together. Hopefully next weekend at the London Stadium, we get something. Take a point, snap your hand off right now for it. But yeah, listen, thank you as always for watching the Just Joe Football Show. Smash a like on this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you all in a bit. Peace out. Leeds.